I am Jonathan League. I am a family therapist and I'm also an addictions counselor. And we are going live tonight, much later than originally scheduled, thanks to some software issues that I have no idea what was going on, but I tried it anyway. So I gave it a good old try. But we're going to be talking about addictions, I think, unless the subject conversation goes a different direction. But that's the idea. So, why are we talking about addictions? Because it impacts everybody. Uh, Whether it is someone who is directly struggling with an addiction, someone who is in a relationship with someone with an addiction, or maybe it's a different member in the family, a coworker, someone you know, a friend. The reality is addiction is rampant, and everybody on some level is impacted. Certainly having contact with people who are struggling with addiction and therefore impacted by addiction. So it's a very relevant topic. It's one I work with so many individuals on, work with so many families about addictions, and um, I just wanted to open it up to talk about a few things and then open the floor up for any questions. At the same time, I really, really apologize for anyone who's going to tune on this later and say, hey, Jonathan, you said you were going to be on like an hour ago and you weren't, and I went to bed. I apologize. I'll probably put out, I will do this again. And therefore, we can interact live for any of you who missed this, and I apologize. And at the same time, I brought something out to kind of do while this was happening, while we're talking, and this is my current hobby art project that I'm working on. It's my very unique version of a chessboard. So I'm going to work on that a little bit and just kind of wait and see if anyone shows up. And if they do, then we will chat. And I just need to click a couple buttons here and I hope I don't double my stream here. Oh, I think I'm good. Okay. So that is what is going on. And like I said, I know this was, I've been tardy. I've been tardy this evening in my connection, so I apologize for that. But like I said, this is a very important topic. We're talking about addictions, something that impacts my belief everybody. And let me tell you why. Because there are more people struggling with addiction than ever before in our society, in our world. So you got people who are struggling with addiction. Therefore, there are people who love and know and are in a relationship with someone with an addiction. And then you work with people, you connect with people. Hi, Jaden. Uh, Samuel, hello. Cheeseburger with fries, hello. Um, but there are people around us that we don't even realize because it is a silent problem. There are all kinds of ways that people struggle with addictions, and a lot of times we don't even realize it. So it's around us all the time. So this is just a chat, just a connection to talk, answer any questions you have. But I do have a couple points that I want to make as well. So, like I said, feel free. Uh, this looks like a good one. Gaming Quest. What is being weird and how not to be one? How not to be weird? I don't quite understand that question, but if you could clarify a little bit, if that's a real question, then we can talk about it. No, I'm thinking more questions about addiction. Maya, but we can go in other directions too. And maybe that is a legit question about being weird. Maybe you're feeling weird, maybe feeling a little awkward or having trouble connecting, and that's totally okay. So if you have more of a question, then I have been called weird. Well, why do you think you've been called weird? What's going on there? Right? Is it something that you know you did? Some people are cruel. And I see Gaming Quest is your username there. I'm guessing you're probably a pretty big gamer. Does this happen online? Do you get called weird online a lot? Um, we can talk about that. So back to addictions for a little bit. Um, there are many different types of addictions, many reasons why people get addicted, and we can get into that. But my guess is most people who are watching, if you know someone who has an addiction, you are struggling with addiction, you want it to stop. You want to help that person. You want them to be better, and you also want the destruction that is happening in your life. You want the disruption, the dysfunction, the pain that is happening to end. And so a lot of people ask about, uh, why do people keep using? Why did they get started in the first place? And yeah, so that is absolutely another area we can talk about as well. All right. Uh, okay. So it looks like researching about some porn addiction and similar stuff. Well, you know what? Let's open this up. Originally I was talking a little bit more about chemical addictions, alcohol, weed, opiates, designer drugs, all that kind of stuff. And that's a very, very common addiction. But that's not the only kind of addictions, right? We call those chemical addictions. And then there's also what we call behavioral addictions. Now, in a way, they're all the same. It's just one starts with a chemical, but they all produce a chemical in our brains, right? It's that feel good dopamine rush. And when we feel that, we repeat it, we go into it. But there are also these behavioral addictions, which are sex addiction, pornography, that kind of thing. You've heard about gambling. There's food addictions. I mean, it's quite amazing how many things we can get addicted to as people. So porn addiction, I will tell you right now, um, I've made a couple videos. If you go to my YouTube channel, and recently I just made one, and maybe I can uh yes, it's the title of it is Porn Feels Good Until It Destroys Everything That Matters. But I really kind of break down porn addiction, why it happens, and what you need to do to stop. But that is absolutely a real problem. Um, so researching let me see. Uh, okay. Well, we've got a couple questions there that are kind of related to the same thing. Someone feeling weird, someone feeling socially awkward, and I appreciate you opening up and asking that question. Um, so here it is. I've experienced extreme social awkwardness ever since I started opioid dependency. I used to be a people person and now I'm a hermit. There can be a lot of reasons for that, but let me throw some thoughts in, right? And first of all, I'm so sorry you're struggling with that addiction, and I hope you're getting help. I hope you are taking yourself, and I hope you are taking care of yourself. I also hope you're not giving up, right? You're not quitting because it is not an easy thing, especially an opiate addiction, to get over that because it controls every aspect of your life. And there's kind of a general understanding about addiction when somebody uh, to the extent that they are addicted, right? Their life is consumed by that substance, and then a lot of the other things in their life, their emotional development, their social development, all those things tend to come to a screeching halt. And there's also a lot of secrecy, right? When you're struggling with addiction, really severely, people can see it. You stand out, you look different. So a lot of times, well, people, they'll go into silence, they'll avoid, they'll stay away. And the longer they do that, the more they don't connect anymore. So being very socially, you haven't really developed those skills. Uh, you've been isolating so long and feeling, I'm guessing, a lot of shame about what you've been doing, and it's been keeping you away from people and developing those skills. But Being social, having connections, solid people in your life is important. So I encourage you to one, seek help if you're not seeking help right now for that addiction, and also seek out the solid people who love you and care about you and can help you move forward. Um, so let me see if I can piece together this thing from Gaming Quest here. I was researching about porn addiction, I'm guessing P addiction, porn, or similar stuff in male and female. So I asked what makes them like it. Well, I don't know if I completely am nailing the question you were asking, but if you were asking why people like porn, because it feels good, because we are sexual beings, because we have attractions, we have sexual attractions, but porn is inflated. It is not. It's not based in reality. It's not based in real relationships. It's real things that are being filmed. It's real things that are being created, but it's over the top. I mean, it's kind of like, uh, well, I think this analogy works. Someone who is using caffeine in the morning, as in they're drinking a cup of coffee to wake up to be able to, feel something. And there's someone who uses a stimulant like cocaine, right? It's like so much more powerful. And so there's normal sexual attraction, normal sexual behavior, and then there is porn, which is things that most anyone will never ever experience. It's way more visual. It's way more everything on a sexual level, and so it is like your drug in that sense, and it creates a loop of going back to it, back to that habitual behavior. But hey, thanks for asking about it. And where did I put my water? So very good question. If there's any other questions on any kind of addiction stuff, then let that go. And I have been neglecting this piece. This is just my chessboard, and I mess around with it. It's my own quirky little design, and I wasn't sure if we were going to be having a lively discussion since I was so late, or not. So I just thought I would have this out and work on it, and it's something to look at besides some guy just rambling away. But I appreciate everyone tuning in and talking tonight. Um, and again, we are talking about addictions. For those of you tuning in and out, we're talking about uh, many different types of addictions. It's come up. We've been talking about chemical addictions, actual substances, drugs, and then we've been talking about behavioral addictions. People have been bringing up about porn. They've been bringing up about um, uh, other ways that people can get addicted. And there are so many ways that, because we are addictive creatures, that is absolutely how we are. So if there are, you know what, I'm just going to hang out and I'm just going to work here, and I'm going to blab a little bit, and I have no problem doing that. But just in case someone else wanted to tune in, because I feel really bad. I was supposed to be on earlier and I wasn't, and my fault for messing something up, but I don't know what I messed up with trying to use a new screen share thing so I could share some things on the screen, but I can't now. Um, so, and I want to welcome all of you for in and out, those of you who are going to watch this on replay. And here's the deal. I know we didn't get to do this live with a lot of you because the timing wasn't right, but I'm still going to do this on Tuesday. So if anyone watches this on replay, I will be doing this again. So let's see. We got another question here. How do I fix the ADHD trap addiction? I don't know if I've heard it explained that way. ADHD trap addiction. That could be a lot of different things. Maybe you can give me a little bit more example of what trap you're talking about. Um, I know some people, they get really, really distracted and they gravitate towards things. People with ADHD, especially, gravitate towards things that stimulate their mind, right? That keep their interest, and so they really get pulled into it. Yeah. So like scrolling dopamine, I get it, right? So that's a very good example. And people with ADHD are typically a little bit more susceptible to it. So I know your question is what to do about it, but maybe you could understand it just a little bit more first. Uh, so in our brains, especially with ADHD, it's kind of like they're lacking stimulation. It's almost like the brain's getting sleepy, and the way it's trying to stay awake is what about this? What about that? It's very easily distracted, but what that brain's looking for is stimulation. So someone who has focus issues, they gravitate more towards those stimulating things. And because when they're in an environment like school, classroom environment, it's not so exciting, right? So they have a hard time focusing. Their mind is, give me something is gonna be interesting. But you give someone a phone, right? And they're looking at videos, whether, especially if it's something extreme like very sexually provocative or pornography or whatever it is. But it's like that dopamine because it's a hit after hit after hit. And it also, so it kind of has this reward cycle to it, but it's keeping the brain very, very active, and then it's hard to pull away from that. And so, what a lot of people try to do when they change a behavior, especially more of an addictive type of behavior, is they try willpower, right? They say, okay, this isn't good. I need to change this behavior because it'll be better for me for all these reasons. And then they think they can just willpower it. All right, I'm going to just try harder. I'm going to stay away from it. I'm going to put my phone down, and that's a good start. It's a good intent, but you find yourself doing it over and over again. So a better strategy is focus on your structure, right? Focus on what is happening in the process of getting wrapped up into things. Don't leave it up to willpower, right? And so there's a lot of ideas that kind of fall into this. But if here's a really good way of framing it. This is what I say to my clients. It's like, okay, if you absolutely had to, in this case, stay away from your phone, not get on your phone, not scroll on your phone, not do that kind of thing. If you absolutely had to, right, you're going to get $1 million, or you're gonna have something bad happen, whatever that motivation is, but you're like, okay, no matter what, I gotta make sure I don't get on my phone. What would you do? What would you do to absolutely make it no chance that you were going to get lost in your phone, right? And you would probably come up with some ideas that are more like, okay, well, I would give my phone to somebody else, or I would have a lot of accountability, or I would whatever those things are is what you would structure, is what you would change. And that's kind of how you have to think about it. You have to create something that doesn't leave you just like, should I look at my phone? Should I not look at my phone? You've got to have more of a plan that that preferably has some accountability, some people who are going to call you out, right? So that's my thoughts. We can get into it a lot more if you have more specifics. But what you're talking about, Gaming Quest, is absolutely real. Absolutely. Like, you are not alone. There are so many people of so many ages that really struggle uh, with getting, or they're addicted to their phones. So taking some breaks, working on that, some digital fast, strengthen that muscle. That resistance muscle is important, but you can do it. It can be done, and that might be a good area uh, for us to have a discussion in the future on one of these talks. We can focus specifically on phone addiction. Very big thing. But there was my point I made earlier. we are addictive creatures. Some of us struggle more than others with other things, but that's how our brains are created. That's how they work. It's how they're wired. Something feels good, something works out, it's pleasurable, we're going to repeat it. Our brain is going to remember it. And the more and more we do it, the more and more it becomes a habit. Um, and therefore, it's harder to break that. And um, I mean, you can argue what addiction is worse. Some of them are worse because of convenience. You always have your phone. Um, and some would say, well, it's the chemical addictions because of how they rewire your brain, how they affect your body, how they destroy your life, and then you need more and more of an escape. But all right, so how about ice baths for early stage of lead? Well, again, I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but I do like the ice bath strategy for a couple reasons. One, it's a good form of self-discipline. There is also some health benefits, is what I understand. I've done it a few times, like after workouts and things like that, and I know that feels good. But a lot of people have used cold showers and cold baths as a restart, right? And the idea is that uh, if you're struggling to stay away from something like your phone or any other addictive behavior or a negative mindset or something like that, you jump in a cold shower, you jump in a cold bathtub, and it's going to shock your system, right? You're going to think about something differently. You're going to think about something different. You're going to feel differently, um, and I actually like the idea. I don't practice it regularly, but I have talked to people who that really works for. The hard thing is talking someone into the idea of jumping into a cold bath or a cold shower. But as a restart, absolutely. So give it a try. Give it a try. But then you need a plan. You still need a plan because that can be a restart for you. But what happens when you warm up and you're back into the same routine? You need a change in routine. You need a change in the patterns. But by all means, the cold bath, cold shower strategy really works. It's a shock to your system. Kind of in a side point, um, and I have done this, and I do this when I really need to. You don't even have to get into a full cold shower, like when you wake up in the morning. If I'm super tired in the morning, I will um, turn on the cold shower, and I'll just get in up, like my arm up to my shoulder, and I'm telling you, man, it just woo, wake up. You're awake, you're alive, and you're moving on. But hey, I appreciate the questions, and I want you to uh, not give up on that, right? Because I can tell by your questions, you're trying to figure some things out, and you're trying to improve. You're trying to grow, and I'm all for that, right? And it takes a while to figure things out, but the important thing is you don't quit. You keep trying. Okay, so. If there's any other questions, we've been talking about addiction. We've been talking uh, about behavioral changes. That seems to be the theme for tonight, and I like it. And this will be something. I just got paint on my fingers because the whole idea was I was going to work on this, but I've been talking more than working on my chessboard. Which is another really good point when it comes to addictions, whether you're suggesting it to someone or for yourself. So many times we get focused on a behavior change and like, okay, I got to stop doing this behavior. I've got to stop whatever it is, right? We've been talking about porn tonight. It could be overeating. It could be substance use, And yes, that's the idea. I want to stop doing that. I want to stop scrolling on my phone and getting in that behavior. But then what are you going to do? If you're not doing that behavior, what are you going to be doing? And why are you going to be doing it? right? So the what and the why are huge, right? Because uh, why, right? Are you doing this so you don't feel like a loser, or are you doing this because life is better? Are you doing it because people are angry at you or mad at you, or are you doing it because you really do believe that you're going to feel better about yourself, you're going to feel healthier, life is good, right? And so the why needs to be the best why is for you and that you're going for something better. There's purpose in it, right? You're not just stopping uh, just because, like you're avoiding a negative thing. You're gaining something so much more, right? And then, so that's where your why needs to be. How good life's going to be, how much better it's going to be, how much better you're going to feel. And then the what is, what are you going to do instead? Right? What are you going to do instead? And so this could be an example, a hobby, right? It's just a little hobby that, a little project that I decided to make on my own. And it's something to keep me occupied. Um, and if you have other things in your life that bring purpose, enjoyment, and they're good, right? They're good, healthy things. And those could be the people you hang out with, the good people you hang out with, the good things you do. Um, so uh, let me see. There was one more comment from Gaming Quest here. Virtual images can make us the path of addiction. Is it the same for sound? Not exactly, again, sure. Uh, Virtual images can be a path to addiction, absolutely. Sounds. I think you're gonna have to give me a little bit more on that one, what you mean by it. But uh, theoretically, um, yeah, I mean, it could be uh, if you're talking about like music you're listening to or the type of music that yeah, people can get addicted to that, or at least, kind of in that bad habit thing. They're listening to something that's always bringing them down. They're listening to something that is bringing out their anger, and that process can be repeated. So, like I said earlier, it's quite impressive and or scary as to what we can become habituated to, what we can become addicted to, all kinds of things. And by the way, it's not all that addictive process, that habit forming process is not bad in and of itself, right? You've heard good habits, bad habits. When you have a good routine, when you have something uh, that you are compelled to do, you have the habit of, but it actually brings purpose to your life. It brings direction to your life. That's a good thing, right? So, hey, I'm gonna hang on just a little bit longer. If there are any other questions, we'll be at about the 30-minute mark, but it's a lot more. It's a lot later than what I intended to, and I apologize for that. It was just some technical difficulties, and we will get back to it at a different time, and I'll schedule it. So if you are subscribed to this channel and you have the notifications turned on, it'll let you know when I do this again, and um, we can, the purpose of this is just interaction back and forth and answering some questions and going over a topic, and tonight was addictions. Um, the my YouTube library is a great place to go to as well. A lot of addiction stuff, a lot of relational stuff, a lot of family things coming from a professional therapist, and just taking a lot of the knowledge and things that I experience and sharing that with other people. So that is most of what I was going to cover tonight. But for anyone watching this in replay, again, we will be doing this some more. We'll be doing the live because the replays, I know they got to be really tough to watch because you know well, just hearing people talk and converse back and forth, and it's not really a topic. So uh, we will do this again. So hit the subscribe notifications, and when I go live again, you'll have a little notification so you can prepare any questions or comments that you want to talk about. But I really appreciate everyone who tuned in and joined in and talked for tonight. And uh, that is about all I have. So you have a wonderful evening, and I'm going to put this stuff up and uh, put my. Ooh, I do not want to hold that over there because if that leaks, that's too much. That would be a problem. Okay, well, you have a good night, and like I said, check in later if you would like. Did I get all the comments? Let me just make sure I got all the comments. Everyone's pretty much checked out now, but I can look at those. Sometimes these comments don't show up afterwards. I don't know if that's a setting or whatever it is, but okay. All right, you have a good night. We'll talk to you later.